in April to vote in a new mayor.
I think future, academic studies in urban politics will look at what happened here in terms of the recall election in Oakland, California in 2024, 2025, and its unintended consequences.
University of San Francisco political professor James Taylor says recalls are more common than ever before across party lines. But people don't think about what happens after the recall election. In mid-December, Oakland City Council declared the office of mayor vacant after voters recalled Mayor Sheng Tao. City Council President Nikki Fortunato Bass became interim mayor. But Fortunato Bass has been elected to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors and is resigning from her role on the City Council.
Because we've had too many mayors. They say in football, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Oakland's had 4 mayors in the last 4 years, and therefore they have had none.
The city of Oakland is currently taking nominations for both mayor and the District 2 council member position left open by Bass. The nomination period is anticipated to close on January 17th. Lauren Taylor has already pulled nomination papers and will be submitting to run for mayor again. He lost to Sheng Tao back in 2022.
My commitment is just as strong as it was 2 years ago to make sure that we are delivering for Oakland residents, to make sure that city government fulfills its promises.
As for the city council, he hopes they'll be able to stay focused and begin making actionable change over the next few months while the top leadership position is still in flux.
Embrace these challenges, but commit to solving them, not just immediate, say, firefighting with different emergencies, but actually creating some sustained change that will make sure that Oakland delivers.
The city of Oakland has announced April 15th as the anticipated date of the special election for both the mayor and the District 2 council member position. Those people will serve out the remainder of the terms that end on January 4th, 2027.
Well, as Amanda mentioned, there are changes coming to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors as well. Tomorrow is the first day that current Oakland interim mayor Nikki Fortunato Bass takes up her new role as the District 5 supervisor. Then the board has to pick a new district attorney to replace recalled DA Pamela Price. Happening today, 2 fire stations in Oakland will shut down for the next 6 months because of the city's budget shortfall. And now firefighters are sharing their concerns about those closures. Kevin Coe on what it could mean for public safety and for Oakland residents.
Oakland firefighters are outside City Hall right now, making their voices heard, all because of what is happening behind me, or, well, because of what isn't happening. Take a look for yourself. Fire Station 25, it is now just a building, one of 2 stations that will be closing starting this morning for the next 6 months. From firefighters to residents, it's hard to find support for these closures, but Oakland is facing the reality of its $13 million budget shortfall. We've reported for months how city officials and experts warned cuts to public safety could be unavoidable. And now, these closures will save the city about $5 million. There's also Station 10 on Santa Clara Avenue, which has been closed and will stay that way for the time being. Oakland firefighters say these closures could be deadly, as brain damage from a loss of oxygen can start in just 6 minutes, and it can take just 120 seconds for a house fire to become life-threatening.
I've been telling folks to try and hold their breath for 10 or 15 minutes and see if they can hold their breath for 10 or 15 minutes, because that might be how long they're waiting for a fire engine to show up if they have a stroke or a heart attack or they need CPR. And that's a reality.
We're going to get here as quickly as we can, as we always do. It doesn't change how we operate. It changes the amount of time that it takes for us to get to that call. There are going to be delays in our delivery, but when you call 911, an engine is going to show up for sure.
Chief Covington says it's unclear how response times will be affected because there's just too many factors that go into it. We do know the 24 firefighters at stations 25 and 28 will be transferred to other stations in the city. Now, the chief hopes to reopen both stations in July, just in time for wildfire season. However, with millions still left uncovered in this budget, nothing is guaranteed.
Well, in San Francisco, Daniel Lurie will be sworn in as mayor this week at City Hall. He officially takes over this Wednesday. He spent the weekend hosting several neighborhood cleanup events. Lurie says he wants to kick off his administration with acts of service. Meanwhile, outgoing Mayor London Breed is doing her final rounds as the leader of the city. The community came together for a special Sunday service at Glide Memorial Church in the Tenderloin, all to thank her.
All the young black men and women in the Fillmore are my kids. and I fell in love with her that day. She is the star. For many years, we in the Tenderloin, we will continue to call her Mayor London Breed.
It doesn't change who I am, whether I'm mayor or not. I'm still London Breed from the project. I'm still London Breed from San Francisco.
Well, during her speech, Mayor Breed thanked the people of Glide for their help in fighting the fentanyl epidemic and promised to stay in the fight with them. Well, still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, wet winter weather brought good news for the state's water supply. Why experts warn there is still a long way to go. Plus, if your New Year's resolution is to take a break from alcohol, well, you're not alone. We dig into the trend of a dry January and take you to one Bay Area spot that offers drinks minus the alcohol, and how a local man is creating art literally one step at a time.
When you put that positivity out there, it does multiply.
When it gets tougher, you get stronger.
Lasting into this afternoon, but then we kind of flip the page to our Tuesday forecast, and suddenly this is the big weather story for us tomorrow. We're talking about wind speeds pushing offshore, anywhere up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour just in the morning hours. It gets stronger into the afternoon in certain pockets like Fairfield and Napa. At times we can see wind speeds anywhere up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour too, and that'll be the case for us throughout the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow night, with a big change as we head into Wednesday. Good news though for that. I'll have more on that in a bit.
Well, the Santa Cruz Wharf is back open after that massive ocean swell caused part of it to collapse before Christmas. Mayor Fred Keeley assured visitors of its safety following an engineering assessment, but concerns remain about the aging 110-year-old structure. Former Wharf Supervisor John Bombachi warned of future risks, citing ongoing wear and tear. Local businesses eager to recover, well, they're cautiously optimistic.
They weren't very happy when they were closed because they didn't see nobody was saying how long it was going to be. But it's been 2 weeks, I guess. We're open. We're praying supposedly there's some big surf coming high tides the next week or so, but I think they can do their job. I'm not pressing the city. I'm not going to hold it against the city if something else falls apart, but I think they've got it.
Officials are considering closing the pier during future high surf events and may not rebuild the collapsed section. After months of delay, commercial crab season is finally open for business. Fishermen in San Francisco were out along piers 45 and 47 yesterday with the latest catch of Dungeness crab. Looks pretty good. Typically, the commercial season starts in mid-November. However, migrating whales delayed the start of the season to January 5th. We heard from one fisherman who says challenges still remain.
We lost our Thanksgiving markets, officially it can still open up, but, a lot of us would like to see some of that stuff back. There's a lot of nice crab, but, it's kind of a little bit slower than what we're used to. And on top of that, we're going with less gear.
Well, fishermen say there are still some whales out, so they have to be careful with that gear. Now to the Sierra. A wet start to this winter season is bringing good news for us in Northern California. The Department of Water Resources took its first measurements of the snowpack just a few days ago. Officials say it's a strong start, but they stress things can change very quickly. Max Darrow and what experts say about the rest of this season.
With equipment in hand, teams from the California Department of Water Resources were at Phillips Station in the Sierra taking measurements for the first snow survey of 2025. And they found the snow depth to be at 24 inches, putting the snowpack right around average for this time of the year. As Andy Reesing explained.
And that's 9 inches of water content. So if we melted that down, it'd be 9 inches of water we're standing on. And that results in 91% of average for this date.
An average start for this part of the Sierra, neither concerning nor promising, but not the case everywhere.
So above the 80 corridor, got a ton of snow with those atmospheric rivers, but it was less and less as we moved south through the state. So the central Sierra region is about right just below average right now, and the southern Sierra is about 75% of average. So that's a big difference throughout the state.
With a climate where extremes are increasingly becoming the norm, water managers and experts say history shows us a lot can change quickly. After the wet December we experienced, Jay Lund, the vice director of the UC Davis Center for Watershed Sciences, told us the wet season is off to a good start. However, he cautioned,
it's still early days for this wet season. It's progressing nicely, but we still have a long way to go.
For more context, on this day last year,
the statewide snowpack measured only 28% of average last year. So we're at 91% of average. We were only 28% last year. Yet we ended the year with a slightly above average snowpack. And conversely, though, back in year 2022, we had 154% of average snowpack on this day in January. But it ended up on April 1st at 37% of average.
The DWR will conduct monthly surveys through May if necessary. The next survey is scheduled for February 3rd.
Well, the U.S. Surgeon General says drinks containing alcohol should carry a warning label about cancer risks. Dr. Vivek Murthy says alcohol consumption is the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the U.S. It trails tobacco and obesity and does not matter what kind of alcohol you drink. Right now, those drinks already have warnings about birth defects if they are used by pregnant women, but an updated graphic would include cancer risks as well.
Alcohol is really good at breaking down protein, and our whole body's made out of protein. And over time, it causes damage to cells, inflammation.
Those Surgeon General advisories typically cover public health issues that need urgent awareness. The Surgeon General has issued other recent advisories for mental health and social media use in teens. The warning comes as the non-alcoholic beverage industry is booming. Demand for non-alcoholic drinks, spirits, and mocktails has been especially strong over the last 2 years, and it's likely to grow with many people taking part in Dry January and taking a break from that booze. The Dry January boom is especially popular with young adults. Many take part as a way to reset their body after the holidays. Andrea Nakano takes us to one business in San Francisco that's helping people extend their liquor-free streak for all 12 months of the year.
Ocean Beach Cafe serves up wine, beer, and cocktails, and there's not a single drop of liquor in these drinks.
The thing about the non-alcoholic beverage industry is it's always upticking. every single year.
Joshua James is the owner of Ocean Beach Cafe. He says the non-alcoholic beverage industry has exploded and companies are making better quality drinks that are comparable to the real thing. York Rafuth is trying this place out for the first time, and he says he can barely notice the difference.
Wine is pretty good for like a non-alcoholic wine. I've had some that in the past that were more like a better grape juice, but this one had more of a wine character.
According to health experts, alcohol can contribute to more than 200 different conditions in the body. Dr. Judy Hahn from UCSF says the Surgeon General's warning should serve as a wake-up call to make sure alcohol use isn't getting out of control.
That's when it becomes problematic, when it starts creeping up with people not even realizing maybe how much they are drinking. When you see, they might not count, but there may be quite a few bottles of wine in that recycling that they need to pay attention to.
Recent surveys have shown drinking among young adults is on the decline by as much as 10%. Dr. Hahn believes the perception of alcohol is changing, just like it did decades ago with cigarettes.
We're going up against industries, kind of the same old thing that we did with the tobacco industry years ago. We're not going to outlaw it. I think, and there are certain places for it, but I don't think suggesting that it's a healthy thing to do is the way to go. And I think that, perceptions do change.
And those changing perceptions are helping businesses like the Ocean Beach Cafe that alcohol isn't needed to enjoy a night out on the town.
I love it. That's awesome. This is an unprecedented shift in drinking culture. And since alcohol has always been the default for when we get together or for any event or for how we socialize, it's just expected. Like alcohol is the default. That is what has shifted.
Well, one misconception is there may be some benefit to light drinking, such as wine for your heart health, but doctors now say that is not the case and there is no safe amount of alcohol. Still ahead, he is not your traditional artist, how one man is putting a new spin on the term street art and creating his own gallery with nothing but his running shoes and a GPS tracking app.
It's an interesting challenge in that you can't just, like with a pencil, go over wherever you want, right? You have to go where the streets take you.
winds right now. And that's the other thing. If it was stronger winds, it would kind of help push that surface level along. But once we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow, things are going to look a lot different. I advanced the clock to tomorrow morning. Notice how we're waking up to some breezy conditions along our shoreline near Half Moon Bay, stretched all the way up into Fairfield and Napa too. Wind speeds pushing offshore anywhere up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour at times too, with mostly sustained winds closer to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Now that'll be the case for us as we head into the evening hours tomorrow night, and then it slowly starts to die down as we head into our Wednesday forecast. But then we look from Wednesday past, and we're suddenly talking about drier than normal conditions widespread throughout the Bay Area. That includes our inland spots, that includes the Bay, and all the way out to our shoreline too. So yes, we have dry conditions throughout the next 7 days, which is really a great opportunity for you to get out there, get some exercise, get some fresh air. But we're also going to be dealing with some pretty mild temperatures too, 60s pretty much as we wrap up this week, heading into this weekend.
Well, a growing trend has found its footing right here in the Bay Area. It's called run art, in which enthusiasts make art with their feet using GPS tracking apps. Our Itai Ha tagging along with a run artist as he created his latest masterpiece on the streets of San Francisco.
52-year-old Frank Chan is not your run-of-the-mill artist. He doesn't use paint, clay, or even a brush. Instead, his only tools, running shoes, a map, and a whole lot of stamina.
There's always a wonder of like, ooh, can I pull this off?
Today, his subject is a cat.
I like this one of him looking up. He's kind of looking longingly. So I think this could kind of work.
Like most artists, Chan likes to feel a connection with his creations. So when he asked me for suggestions, I offered up my cat Oscar. Chan agreed.
I'll take Oscar the cat and overlay him on top of San Francisco.
Chan is what's known as a run artist. Using GPS tracking on an app called Strava, he turns thousands of steps into giant designs that span entire cityscapes. His portfolio includes everything from Disney characters to iconic album covers like this one of Chapel Roan, a 46-mile run that recently went viral.
It's an interesting challenge in that you can't just, like with a pencil, go over wherever you want, right? You have to go where the streets take you.
But as we learn, creating art with your feet is at times an uphill battle.
When you have these steep hills,
yeah,
do you wish you had designed it in a different area
now? I'm regretting it kind of in the moment, but it'll be nice after.
While run art is growing in popularity all over the world, it hit its stride in San Francisco, where Strava is based. Rob Terrell is the Chief Technology Officer of Strava, which was originally designed to help runners track their routes. He says this use of the app is spreading so quickly that the company recently published instructions on how to become a run artist.
Were you surprised to see that people are using Strava to create art?
I was personally surprised. The way that I use Strava is to record, my rides or my runs. It's like a personal log. I never really thought about sharing that with the world.
After a little more than 2 hours and about 8 miles, Chan completes his portrait of Oscar.
Here's our moment of truth for this watch. Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Proving that you don't need to be Picasso to create a meowsterpiece.
That's a good-looking cat. Well, these are a few of their other creations. If you'd like to see more of Chan's run art, you can check out his Instagram page, Chanarchy. Well, coming up in the next half hour, CBS News Bay Area, brazen burglars crashing through a storefront in Oakland. The city says crime is down recently, but is that really the reality?
Okay, keep saying that crime is down, yet it's still going on, constantly going on. I mean, why do they keep saying that it's down when it's constant?
Well, us will introduce you to the K-9 cadet protecting the mental health of officers who respond to some of the East Bay's most brutal crimes.
The coolest microclimate today is in the valleys of the North Bay, where the fog is still hanging on. This environment lets us take our viewers inside the weather. Microclimates, the fog, the rain, we can explain in 3 dimensions and show you what's going to happen. The offshore wind on our real-time map showing that east to west movement. The way everyone else is doing weather on television is like riding on horseback. This is space travel.
Virtual weather on KPIX. You've just got to see it.
I'm Ryan Yamamoto. This is a minute. Firefighters gathering at Oakland City Hall today, calling for the reversal of 2 fire station closures in the Oakland Hills. They are temporarily closed for 6 months due to the city's ongoing budget shortfall. Firefighters say this will impact public safety in the area. In San Francisco, Daniel Lurie will be sworn in as mayor on Wednesday morning at City Hall. He spent the weekend hosting several neighborhood cleanup events and says he wants to kick off his administration with acts of service. Dungeness crab season is finally underway this morning after months of delays. Fishermen are eager to haul in crabs, but with missed holiday markets, prices may rise. Restaurant owners say they plan to serve those fresh local catches today. Fishermen say they are hopeful for a good season. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on Pixbus 44 Cable 12. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. This is The Minute.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
We woke up to some dense fog this morning throughout the Bay Area, especially up in the North Bay. But the good news is it lifts as we head into this afternoon, and we're really just left with some partly cloudy skies. So as we take a look at our daytime highs today, widespread throughout the Bay, you're going to notice a lot of upper 50s and lower 60s in areas like Redwood City, all the way over into San Francisco. And as we zoom all the way into the North Bay, too, our friends up near Novato and Santa Rosa are dealing with nice low 60s throughout this afternoon with mild weather throughout the next couple days. Now, as we head into the afternoon hours today, the winds are relatively light, but that's not going to be the case for us as we wake up tomorrow morning by any means. We're going to see clear conditions tomorrow, so no more dense fog advisory in sight, but there's a reason for that. We're also dealing with some gusty winds pushing offshore just into the overnight hours tonight. Early morning hours tomorrow. We can see winds anywhere up to around 30, 35, even 40 miles per hour in some of our inland spots. This is just around the afternoon hours tomorrow, lasting until the evening hours tomorrow night. And then once we head into Wednesday, that's when the winds start to die down again. And that's good news for us here in the Bay Area. And as we take a look at the next 7 days, you're going to notice day by day, we're just dealing with dry, mild weather widespread throughout the Bay Area. A little bit warmer for us tomorrow with those sunny conditions in store for us. Partly cloudy skies returning for Wednesday with some mid-60s in store. And then we cool down just a little bit more heading into this weekend with some upper 50s flirting along our coastline as well, with dry conditions throughout the next 6 to 10 days issued by the Climate Prediction Center.
Well, in Oakland, it was another busy weekend for police investigators. They say robbers targeted several small and large businesses, including a Safeway. Business owners told our Da Lin, enough is enough.
Thieves used a stolen Honda Accord to ram a West Oakland business. It's one of at least 3 businesses that were targeted early Sunday morning. The owner provided the surveillance footage showing just before 4 o'clock, someone backed the car into the smoke shop 3 times to break down the metal security fence. The alarm sounded the whole time, but the burglars had no fear. Surveillance footage shows the thieves were in there for 5 minutes, bagging up Nike shoes, bongs, and other merchandise. The owner of It Is What It Is smoke shop did not want to be on camera, but he tells me the burglars took thousands of dollars worth of products and cost at least $30,000 in damage.
Change the plywood out, put glass, we'll order glass, put new glass in it. The whole door is going to end up getting changed.
7 blocks away from the smoke shop, Rudy Almanza was replacing a glass door at Extra Mile Chevron gas station. Police say around 2:45 a.m., a group of robbers broke down the door.
Sledgehammer, I think is what hit that.
To rob the cashier of the register and other items.
Today's a Sunday, I'd rather be home, So they call me out to come and do an emergency to get this door up and running again.
Rudy says while all the brazen burglaries and robberies are terrible, it's been good for his line of work. Keeps him employed.
Almost daily, really. In Oakland? In Oakland. Like I said, this isn't the only story.
A short time later, police say a group of people broke into the Safeway near Oakland Tech High School on Broadway. The store was closed at the time, but employees were working inside. The robbers took at least 1 cash register and other items. Police say they did not hurt the workers.
Doesn't make me feel too safe knowing that people are breaking into our local Safeway.
Police say the gas station and Safeway robberies were very similar, and they're looking to see if it's the same group of robbers. Last weekend, authorities say a group of robbers used a sledgehammer to break down doors to rob Oakland businesses. It's unclear if these cases are done by the same people.
Okay, keep saying that crime is down, yet it's still going on, constantly going on.
Oakland leaders recently celebrated the crime reduction in 2024. The most recent Oakland police crime stats showed robbery went down by 25% in 2024 compared to 2023, and burglary dropped by almost half.
No, crime isn't down. The politicians just want to make themselves look good. That's all. That's all it's about.
Rudy doesn't have the answer, but says 11 years of doing this type of work every year since the pandemic has gotten more busy.
Makes it hard to live in California, that's for sure. If I wasn't so busy, I might move.
We're not aware of any arrests in the Sunday morning incident. One investigator tells me the bad guys know that OPD is severely understaffed. He believes that's why they keep coming back to target Oakland businesses, knowing, one, response times will be slow, two, there aren't enough officers to investigate these so-called low-priority incidents where no one was hurt.
Well, in Sonoma County, a Petaluma man is facing charges after an apparent case of road rage took a scary turn. Police say he flashed a gun while driving in Santa Rosa just before 5 p.m. on Saturday. When officers stopped the car, they say they found a loaded gun, ammo, and a holster in the backpack. A 1-month-old baby and the child's mom were also in the car. And an unusual bust in the South Bay. Deputies in Cupertino recovered more than $1,000 worth of stolen meat. Investigators say 2 people swiped ribeyes, roasts, and other prime cuts from a Safeway on Homestead Road. But an alert worker got the suspect's license plate as they made their getaway, leading to 2 arrests and the meat's recovery. Well, it's no secret police work can take a heavy emotional toll. Now the Richmond Police Department has a new way to help officers cope. They have recruited their first ever wellness canine. Amanda Harry introduces us to Rosie, a 9-month-old black lab puppy, and some of the members of the department that she has helped so far.
Hi. While patrolling the streets of Richmond can be a tough job, a new member of the police department is trying to help lighten the load.
You want to go see your friends?
9-month-old Rosie, named after Richmond's own Rosie the Riveter, is the Richmond Police Department's new wellness dog, aiming to provide emotional support and a calming presence.
You can tell people's mood changes when they see her. You know, if there's an officer walking down the hallway, they'll light up.
Karin Khalil is one of Rosie's handlers. She's only been caring for her for a few months, but already believes Rosie will be a good fit.
She seems almost like it's suited for her. She's very in tune with emotions.
Khalil never expected to be caring for a dog as part of her job as the Richmond Police Department's patrol secretary, but she says it's worth it. She's seeing the kind of impact Rosie can have for the department and at home.
There was one time when my son was upset in the not too distant past, and she came up and just put her head on his lap, and it was very sweet because my other dogs don't do that. Show your tricks, okay?
At this point, Rosie has only been in basic obedience classes.
Shake. Good girl. Down.
Later this year, she'll work with Next Step Service Dogs in San Diego. The nonprofit will help train her to be a service dog for first responders. Rosie will learn how to provide comfort and remain calm in tense situations. She and her handlers will complete months of advanced training. She was specifically picked from a litter of Labrador puppies because she was the most calm and affectionate.
She gets mad if I don't rub her belly.
Lieutenant Donald Patchen says he's excited to see how she progresses.
I can only imagine how huge her impact will be once she's completed the actual training and have that formal training for us to rely on. I mean, I only see it as going up from here.
All her training is expected to take about 2 years and funded by the Officer Wellness and Mental Health State Grant Program.
Who's that?
Officer Alyssa Alvarado says in just a few months, Rosie has already become a light at the department headquarters.
Just a fresh chicken from like serious business, like when you come to work and you got to put on your game face and be ready, and then she just runs up and wants to see if you have any treats for you or anything.
Alvarado trains new recruits. She says the recruits always welcome a break to say hello to Rosie. Khalil is excited to see how Rosie continues to grow in her position for many years to come.
I consider myself lucky to have her and get to have her be my workmate every day.
Ready? Let's go. Creating a little bit of zen in a chaotic world of police work.
Well, up next, they have trained thousands of people in self-defense classes, but now the owners of an East Bay nonprofit needs their own boost after their gym flooded twice. How they're trying to get back on their feet and their doors back open.
For us this morning, lasting into this afternoon, but then we kind of flip the page to our Tuesday forecast, and suddenly this is the big weather story for us tomorrow. We're talking about wind speeds pushing offshore, anywhere up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour just in the morning hours. It gets stronger into the afternoon in certain pockets like Fairfield and Napa. At times we could see wind speeds anywhere up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour too, and that'll be the case for us throughout the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow night, with a big change as we head into Wednesday. Good news though for that. I'll have more on that in a bit.
Well, some recent Jefferson Award recipients are in a bit of a bind after a series of downpours flooded the gym over the past couple of months. Kenny Choi shows us how they're hoping this latest setback could turn something into something positive.
As a college English professor, Karen Spurn needed a hobby. When she discovered kickboxing, her whole world changed.
It was so empowering that it built so much community, that it gave me so much strength and confidence, and it became one of the major passions in my life.
It became such a passion that Spurn co-founded the nonprofit Tough Love Fitness in Oakland with her business partner Molly Kensensing. Kensensing is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt who shares her expertise to empower those with similar challenges.
I've had my share of harassment and violence in my life.
The small business owners have worked hard to become a staple in the community. That's why back-to-back flooding incidents right around Thanksgiving and the day before Christmas felt like a punch to the gut.
We've just been trying to divert water, but it's like a river when it comes out, so it's very disconcerting.
They are replacing flooring and fixing other damage caused by the flooding, not wanting to let their clients down.
It helps us to take a breath, to say, it's okay, this is a crisis that we can overcome. We have the capacity to do it. Our community will support us.
All right.
After all, perseverance, mental and physical strength is what is taught at Tough Love. They have trained more than 3,000 people in free community self-defense classes since 2018.
For us to be able to be those leaders and to help other, not just women, but also anyone who doesn't see themselves as being represented in a martial arts space, that we can help provide that leadership, nurture those new young people coming up. That's really very much my passion.
Both Kensensing and Spurn say representation matters when it comes to training and leading.
And when we started training, we didn't see a lot of women in leadership positions in martial arts. I've never had a woman kickboxing teacher.
It's that tough love attitude that has helped them and others kick and reach higher. Now it's inspiring them to be resilient during tough times.
Well, Tough Love will hold its annual fundraising drive to provide free self-defense classes for the community. You can visit their website to learn more. That's at toughlove.org. Well, the 49ers' disappointing season came to an end Sunday in Arizona with their worst defensive effort in 6 years. Our Vern Glenn gives us a recap.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers started 2025 the same way that they ended 2024, with another loss. San Francisco dropped 7 of its final 8 games to finish the season 6-11. The season couldn't end fast enough for the defense. They gave up 47 points to the Cardinals. It was the most allowed by the 49ers since 2018. The good news is they'll pick 11th in the draft. And after 3 straight long playoff runs, they get a full offseason to regroup.
Trying to finish in with a win, didn't get that done today, but excited to get to this offseason and figure out how to not be in this situation again.
For as long as I've been here, I've always known, playing dominant defense to be a part of that, knowing that I'm out there every game and it still isn't good enough. It obviously is a gut punch to my own pride. Everybody's got to take a look in the mirror. Everybody's got to look to see where they could have been better as a group.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
And coming up, finding time to exercise can be hard, especially for women. And experts say their health is paying the price. We'll dig into the gender gap in exercise.
light winds right now. And that's the other thing. If it was stronger winds, it would kind of help push that surface level along. But once we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow, things are going to look a lot different. I advanced the clock to tomorrow morning. Notice how we're waking up to some breezy conditions along our shoreline near Half Moon Bay, stretched all the way up into Fairfield and Napa too. Wind speeds pushing offshore anywhere up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour at times too, with mostly sustained winds closer to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Now that'll be the case for us as we head into the evening hours tomorrow night, and then it slowly starts to die down as we head into our Wednesday forecast. But then we look from Wednesday past, and we're suddenly talking about drier than normal conditions widespread throughout the Bay Area. That includes our inland spots, that includes the Bay, and all the way out to our shoreline too. So yes, we have dry conditions throughout the next 7 days, which is really a great opportunity for you to get out there, get some exercise, get some fresh air. But we're also going to be dealing with some pretty mild temperatures too, 60s pretty much as we wrap up this week, heading into this weekend.
New year, new you gets all of us going in the new year with a focus on becoming the person you want to be. And the gender gap between men and women extends beyond work and wages. Women's health also is at risk. And Makovic explains why women get less exercise than men.
With 3 little boys at home, Jenny Morales sneaks in her workouts any way she can. She's always prioritized exercise and wellness, but what used to be 5 one-hour workout classes a week has dwindled to mini sessions at home, using free weights or the treadmill in the family office.
The baby and I are here for a little bit, a couple naps, feeding in between, lots of cleaning, and maybe a little small workout when he takes a 30-minute nap if I can get it in.
The struggle to find time is part of what experts are now recognizing as a gender gap in physical activity, in part due to the heavier workload women carry for the family, whether they work outside the home or not.
Because you're a mom, and I think that some of those needs need to be met by you mostly.
In a recent study from Cedars-Sinai, only 33% of women met the standard for weekly aerobic exercise, compared to 43% of men.
We do know that at all ages, once you are an adult, and actually even during our childhood, women do less physical exercise than men.
While women have a tough time prioritizing their workouts, the irony is that they might get more out of exercising than men.
For women compared to men, women got more bang for the buck, meaning that if women did half the exercise of men, they lived as long as men.
Experts say a short, light workout is better than nothing at all. Morales takes that to heart.
Your full hour, it may be in like little increments throughout the day, and then you get it done.
Putting her family first by keeping herself healthy too.
Well, again, just be tough for anyone to get fit in the new year, but with a new baby at home, it could even be harder. On a morning edition, we learn about a program for mothers who want to get their fitness goals met while keeping the little ones by their side.
Well, for new moms especially, we find that just getting the confidence to get out of their house with their baby is tough. So we try to create a really welcoming environment where they have friends right away when they get there, and very inclusive. So just getting out of the house, getting their stuff all packed. So we like to give them tips and tricks to do that before they come to their first class. Just make it really easy for them to get there, because the confidence of getting out of your house with a new baby is a pretty big hurdle to get over.
Lewis also says supporting new moms in your community on their goals can help things feel a little less daunting. Well, it's the first big award show of the year. Hollywood's biggest stars were shining at the 82nd Golden Globes, celebrating the best in television and film. We saw some big wins from Bay Area native. San Francisco native Ali Wong won her second Golden Globe Award. It was for her best stand-up comedy performance for her Netflix comedy special, Single Lady, and she gave a big shout out to her hometown.
You know, I come from San Francisco, and that's where I started doing stand-up, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the stage time that I got there and all the practice I got to become a stand-up comedian. So I really want to thank Molly Schmink from the SF Punchline Comedy Club.
And a great speech from John Chu, director of Wicked. The film won the Best Award for Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. He says they could not have done it without the fans who showed up and showed out for the theater experience.
We saw your videos, we saw your sing-alongs, we saw your makeup, your hair products, your bakery items, I don't even know. And it shows us how important making this stuff is.
Chu was, of course, born in Palo Alto and grew up in Los Altos. Well, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back with your First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.